Hello and welcome back to Medicine in Small Doses, the podcast that explores the intersection of health, wellness and empowerment. I'm your host, Uju, and I'm thrilled that you are here again today with us for another exciting episode. You know, following the tremendous success of the last episode on lifestyle medicine, we received an overwhelming response from our incredible listeners. Your engagement enthusiasm has been truly inspiring. Many of you reached out with thought-provoking questions, eager to dive deeper into the topic and gain more insights. So we do have another special treat for you today. Not only are we addressing the top 10 most commonly asked questions on lifestyle medicine and its impact on type 2 diabetes, but we'll also be joined once again by Dr. Amobi. You know, if you don't know who he is, he's a renowned healthcare veteran, British-Nigerian doctor, and an expert in the field of lifestyle medicine and diabetes management. His vast experience of expertise will add invaluable insights to our discussions. However, we'd like to provide a medical disclaimer, before we delve into the questions and answers. The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. So always seek advice from your physician or other qualified health providers with any questions that you may have regarding a medical condition. Okay, so now let's get started. We'll address the top 10 questions you, our excellent listeners, have sent in to Dr. Amobi and I, and we'll guide you through each question, providing detailed answers, sharing real life examples, and empowering you to take charge of your health and well-being. Please also keep in mind that the answers provided are general in nature and may not apply to everyone. Individual circumstances can vary, so it is essential to consult your healthcare provider for personalized advice and guidance. Okay, get ready for an enlightening and informative discussion that will equip you with the knowledge and tools to navigate the world of lifestyle medicine and type 2 diabetes. Thank you once again for joining us, and let's embark on this empowering episode together. Remember to always prioritize your health and well-being, and let's dive into the top 10 questions on lifestyle medicine and type 2 diabetes with Dr. Amobi, who's right by our side. So let's go. Hello, doctor.
How are you?
I am great. And thank you again for joining us for this exciting episode. So I got various questions from the listeners and I'm just going to get straight into it if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So how can lifestyle changes really make a difference in preventing or managing type 2 diabetes?
Well, that's a fantastic question. And I think that was, one of the most common. I think that's the number one question most people are asked, and I'm glad that they've done that too. Lifestyle changes, like I said last time, can play a crucial role in preventing and managing type 2 diabetes by addressing the underlying risk factors. So let's say, for example, by adopting healthy lifestyle, by engaging in physical activity like exercise. We talked last time about, dancing, we talked about running, we talked about and one of the things that's quite encouraging, especially if you watch Nigerian movies these days, is almost every Nigerian movie has somebody who's going for some exercise of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's super encouraging because, it shows and demonstrates that, putting, lifestyle measures in place is seen as a positive thing and what you need to do to achieve the life that you desire. Right? Managing stress, getting adequate sleep, not only improves your overall well-being, but actually good sleep helps to improve your insulin sensitivity. And what does that mean? That means that when you sleep well, your body actually responds to insulin way better than when you don't sleep much. And you may ask how? Because when you struggle with sleep, your body releases like some stressful hormones, and those stress hormones normally inhibit or prevent insulin from doing its job. When you have good sleep, it normally makes life easier for insulin and of course yourself. So those things are important in terms of making, contribute to positive sugar control. We know that study has shown that lifestyle interventions such as, evidence-based, meaning like, we've studied it, we've looked at it, we've seen the answers, we can see that it makes real difference, can greatly reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 58 to 60%. That's extraordinary, right? So these changes can have potential to have powerfully impact in your life, and with appropriate medical care and guidance, you will get there, particularly in prevention but most especially in managing type 2 diabetes, because I can't say it enough that type 2 diabetes is a reversible condition. But I'm going to prefix that as well by saying that if you have the reversibility or putting in a remission, sometimes it's as a consequence of how long you've had it for. So it's quite easier to reverse people who are early diagnosed, people who are pre-diabetes. But if it's been poor before, you can actually push it to a range that it reduces your risk of complications. So there is always something to do to make it better. That's the most important. If you don't take anything away from the first question, is diabetes, pre-diabetes are type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes are reversible conditions. You can, if it's very, very high level, you can improve it with lifestyle. Even if you can't reverse it, you can improve it.
That's really encouraging. Thank you, doctor. Okay, so what specific dietary changes can I make to improve my blood sugar control and reduce my risk of diabetes? That was a question that we had from Necker in London.
Okay. So the aim is to incorporate whole food. And what I mean by whole food is food that are not processed. So unprocessed food in your diet. Yeah. So fruits. One of the impressive things about fruits is in the UK, in Africa, it's actually better to some capacity in terms of fruits because fruits are seasonal. Whereas here we have fruit in abundance. You have banana 365 days of the year. You have strawberry every single day for red. That's not how nature intended it to be. But because we live in a culture of abundance, then we overeat the fruit part. Whereas in most countries that are blessed with these fruits that are there and they're not bombarded with so many fruits from all over the world, is provided you eat sufficient amount that are naturally made from your home country. That's very important. Vegetables, I don't care what time of the year it is, phenomenal. And I think you need to have way more veggies than fruits in my own estimation. Every single thing that you eat should have vegetable and it should occupy, let's say, between 45 to, about 50% of your food intake. If you're eating beans, put veg in it. You're eating soup, veg in it. Whatever it is that you eat, rice, veg in it. Yam, veg in it. Because the great thing about vegetables is that they have very low carbohydrate counts, but the minerals, some of them contain, substances that improve or widen your blood vessel to reduce your blood pressure and things like that. So I cannot understate that enough. Proteins, as we talked about before, good fat, nuts. I like almond nuts. Walnut is amazing because they contain omega-3s. Okay. So they're fantastic to have. Make sure that every day you have one handful of nuts because that gives you, particularly I like one handful of almond nuts every day because it gives me about 30 gram, between 22 and 30 gram of fat. And these are really, really good fat, right? So now, reduce salt intake. I cannot state that enough because salt increases the risk of developing blood pressure. So it's very, very important that we control that. So let's give you an example. So let's say your name is John, right? And you've, 55 years old and you have risk of, developing type 2 diabetes. Instead of drinking Fanta, why not infuse, orange into your water, right? So, because we know that Fanta or Coca-Cola have up to 10 cubes of sugar into that little bottle that you're drinking, right? Whereas the water and the fruit, 0 sugar, keeps you alive. Right. So
but also kind of has a taste to it. So fruit infused water. That's a good one. Actually, if you are someone that craves kind of a drink with a bit of a kick or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. So
while also.
Yeah. So in, those little changes will improve because remember the aim here is to reduce the amount of sugar that is going in.
Right.
We're not trying to deny you your guilty pleasures. No. It's what is going in is the most important thing. And you got to ask yourself, this thing that is going into my mouth, what purpose is it going to serve when it gets there? It's not about stopping you from, like remember, I was talking to a lady, she goes, but doctor, I like my malt, I just, every time I come back from work, in my mind on 1 or 2. I was like, tell me exactly what you gain from it. She goes, I just like the taste, right? Fine. I don't want you to stop drinking malt if you don't want to, but the aim is ask yourself, what am I going to gain from that malt? So I hope that kind of...
Yeah, and if you are going to drink it, I guess to start reducing the amount.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. So question number 3, is exercise alone enough to help prevent or reverse type 2 diabetes? Or do I need to focus on other lifestyle factors as well?
I think
that's a good question.
That's a fantastic question. I think while exercise is critical, I think focusing on other lifestyle factors are essential, for more comprehensive diabetes management and prevention. So, a combination of regular activities and good diet, is very important. Now, I want to talk specifically on this exercise part, and this is why I recommend exercise a lot. It increases your insulin sensitivity. So basically the way your body receives insulin, particularly your muscles, when you exercise, your muscles, the cells in your muscles open up to take more glucose, accept more glucose. So it's very, very important. And what people don't realize is that if you exercise and then your body actually takes this sugar and put them into cells, if you don't keep doing it, the benefit that you accrued from the one that you've done already within 1 week is gone. So it's something that you need to be consistent with. But I think, in my estimation, that exercise is tremendously important because the insulin sensitivity, we know that even your body can actually get sugar into the cells without needing so much of the insulin. So exercise cannot be understated, but you want to make sure that while exercise is helping you open up the cells to accept sugar, you're not inadvertently adding more sugar through your mouth because now you're paying Peter to rob Paul. Yeah. So make sure that while you're exercising, good nutrients, good sleep, all of those things should be able to help you from that perspective. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I guess it expedite the process and make it quicker. That's great. Okay. How does stress affect blood sugar levels? That's question number 4. And what are some effective stress management techniques that can support diabetes management?
Yeah. So
from Tom in Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the thing is this. And I think I mentioned this in the previous talk about cortisol. Stress can elevate your blood sugar levels by triggering the release of cortisol. Now, what is cortisol? Cortisol is our stress hormone. It's inbuilt in your body already, so that when your brain thinks that you're in trouble, it releases a hormone that will help you deal with that issue. Now, your body doesn't want to be digesting food or dealing with food when it's supposed to be helping you fight. It's like somebody's coming to your house to beat you up and you just want to make like 1 cup of Gary before then, right? So it doesn't really work well like so. So what the cortisol does is actually, I go back a little bit. So what your body do that is very smart is, remember earlier when I said insulin takes sugar into the cells. One of the things that cortisol does is to bring sugar out of the cells back into your bloodstream, because you're going to need energy to run away from the problem or deal with the problem. So another thing cortisol does is it blocks insulin as well, so that it's not like if when it releases the money into the bloodstream, then insulin takes them away, right? So it doesn't want that sort of interruption. So what happens now is stress causing increase in cortisol, meaning like your body is releasing tons of sugar back into the bloodstream, and that's not good. So, and the second question the individual here asks is, what are the effective stress management techniques can support diabetes management? Smart question. Number 1, things like deep breathing exercise. We're going to make a video on that. I have a colleague who is very good at deep breathing exercise. We'll be able to teach that. Meditation is very important. Yoga. mindfulness practices, any hobbies that you have that promotes relaxation, even if it's like watching a really nice movie or listening to radio, anything that reduces your stress is worthwhile. Because what that does, it reinforces and tells your brain to say, hey, we don't need a lot of cortisol. I think we're good here. That's the aim.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Doctor. Okay, so question number 5. Are there any specific foods or nutrients that can help improve insulin sensitivity and regulate blood sugar levels?
The simplest answer is absolutely.
Right.
Certain foods, nutrients have been associated with improved, your way your body responds to insulin and regulate your sugar control, i.e. high fiber diet. You need fiber to digest sugar, right? It's super important. So that's where, vegetables come in. That's where fruits come in. That's where whole grains come in, right? That's where, food that are like rich in fatty omega-3 acids, like fatty fish. Chia seeds is my favorite. I like walnuts, spices. There's certain spices like turmeric, like cinnamon. Those things have been shown to have some potential benefit in enhancing, the way your body responds to sugar. So absolutely, there are all of the good food. Any food that God made that looks like how God created it, that is eaten in the quantity that is not too many, has a propensity to improve your sugar level. I think that's the easiest way to see
Break it down. Okay.
Yeah.
So question number 6, can improving my sleep patterns really have an impact on my diabetes risk or management? How can I prioritize better sleep? I think that's a great question because sleep is something, again, that is, it's individual to the person's circumstance. So some people might do night shifts or daytime sleeping, evening sleeping, or they might have a young child. And I guess, but I guess we're speaking to the general population, aren't we?
Yeah. So yes, and the answer to that question is absolutely yes. Improving your sleeping pattern can have a significant impact on your diabetes risk and management. There's a bi-directional relationship between sleep and your diabetes, right? So poor sleep or poor quality sleep or insufficient sleep can disrupt your hormone balance. So it makes your body more resistant to insulin. So it's not accepting insulin picking up sugar to put in the cells, right? So I'll give you an example. I used to have this patient who had insomnia. What caused the insomnia? The reason that his insomnia basically is a medical term for struggle with sleep. So what happens is that because he wakes up 3 or 4 times to go wee at night as a consequence of diabetes, and remember that when you have too much sugar in your bloodstream, your body tries to find a very smart way to get rid of those sugar. And one of these clever ways it does is it converts the sugar in a manner that you're going to be able to pee them out, right? So it draws more water. So you're going to have to wake up at night to go and wee. If you go to bed at 8 p.m., then you have to wake up at 10 to go and wee. Then you come out at 12 to go and pee. It takes long for you to go back to sleep. So, and then as a consequence, the next day you're not going to feel refreshed. Your body hasn't had any time to get rid of all the rubbish in your body. There's poor repair system in your body. And you know how people feel when they haven't got enough sleep. You're cranky, you're angry.
Yeah.
And then when you're cranky and angry, what happens? Your body releases cortisol because it thinks that you're stressed. And then the stress now blocks up your body's ability to deal with sugar, right? So all of this, whereas if you improve your diet, if you improve your lifestyle, and let's say get to a position where your sugar is so controlled or so well controlled in a manner that it doesn't disrupt your sleep at night, you will feel refreshed. Your heart is going to work better. Your energy level is going to be good. You're going to be less cranky. You're going to be more productive. So all of these things are extremely, extremely important. So the answer is yes, sleep quality, phenomenal.
Excellent. Thank you, Doctor. Are there any toxins in my everyday environment that could be contributing to my diabetes risk? How can I minimize my exposure to them? It's another great question.
This is fantastic. I was giving a talk, was it a few months ago? And I was telling people that, in most African countries back in the days, how we get our fertilizer, like if you get animal excrements, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, or you get you get dead leaves, etc. That's gives you natural manure. But these days, there is a lot of pesticides and insecticides and chemicals, and particularly in the West, where you would get a banana can take 9 months before it ripes, right? And why is that? It's not because it's a special type of banana. It's because somebody's put some chemicals in it to keep it that fresh and stay in the storage for 9 months without ripening. Mm-hmm. Natural banana will ripe in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, or shorter period, let's say, right? So those toxins get into the food that we eat. There's certain spices that people use that are, come from countries that we can't even pronounce the name of the countries. God knows exactly what they're putting into those spices that they're bringing into the country for anybody else to eat. Chemicals we wash our hair with. We know that most of the products that Black people use for their hair have so much toxins. It's not just toxins for the sugar. They're actually carcinogens, things that can actually cause cancer in the body. And there is no place that is the highest than in products that Black people use, particularly Black women use to do their hairs and stuff like that. So, so environmental toxins, bad water, poor, skincare. Skincare is I would argue that skincare is just about the biggest of them in terms of environmental toxins, because we don't like ashy skin, right?
No, we don't.
We use way more creams, and anybody who tells us that cream is good, we go for it, right? So it's always important to make sure that you are using natural and chemical-free products, cleaning products, to utilize, as much as you can, and if you reduce all these harmful chemicals, not just for diabetes, but for possible cancers this year alone, we have 70 new diagnoses of diseases that we have no idea where it came from. Time will tell.
Yeah.
The best thing you got to do for yourself is to make sure that you put measures in place so much that you reduce the risk of you getting some of these conditions. And the best way is to stay away from products that you have no idea where they come from. Mm-hmm. You can't even read the label. You can't even understand.
They don't even have labels.
Or don't even have labels.
Yeah.
Right? It's extraordinary. So be careful, be careful, be careful. That's what I'm going to say.
That's great, Doctor. Thank you. Please do your due diligence when it comes to chemicals, creams, products that you're using and for your face, body and, cleaning. Thank you, Doctor. Okay. So how important, this is question number 8, is it to have a support network or community while making lifestyle changes to prevent or manage diabetes?
Brilliant. That's a smart question. We said it briefly. I think we mentioned this in the previous
episode. We did. Yeah, so they just want to
having a support network or community is crucial whenever you're making any lifestyle changes, right? Mm-hmm. Because what are the utilities? What are the benefits of it? Number one, they provide encouragement, accountability as well. Yeah. Okay, and you have a shared experience. Mm-hmm. You learn from peer support.
You do,
right?
Yeah.
In my clinic, even within my high network. Mm-hmm. I have high network people who've met each other through my programs, and then they help each other even outside our small group.
Of course they do, yeah. There was the running community that formed as part of your group.
Yeah, exactly.
They started walking and jogging and running, and now they still meet up.
Yeah.
And unable to do that if they had stayed within the same parameters of friends and family. So you really have to step out of your comfort zone, or in order to reach a goal, sometimes you have to, it's best and you get quicker results if you step out of the people that you kind of normally surround yourself with and seek out people who are on the same path as you.
Yeah. And that's exactly, because one of the things I observed in my clinics is, within my people who are high net worth individuals that I look after, they tend to be a bit more when you encourage them a lot to meet people, like-minded people, they tend to enjoy it. And then they start, we do the run with the doctor. So we go for a run.
Walks with the
we
older
do
ones.
Walk with the doctors, especially with the older ones.
They've just started doing it without you now sometimes.
Exactly, right? And then that's what I want.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because it's become part of their...
It's become part of their community.
And their lifestyle.
And lifestyle as well, right? And I think there's more challenges than my ultra high net worth people. And these are folks that, and I don't see day to day basis, and you wouldn't, they don't tend to subscribe to that, but at least they're doing the lifestyle practices as you see it. Yeah. But in clinical practice, whenever I work within my government clinics, regular people, everyday people, have their own little groups. You were part of the 5K groups. Yeah, definitely. And go for like a run of 5. Is it 5,000? Yeah, exactly. And that's extraordinary. So having a group, a support group. Join anyone that if you find one less useful, get out of it. Find your tribe. Okay. So this is like findyourtribe.com.
And it isn't just kind of physical health, it's also mental health and well-being that it contributes to, positively impacts as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so can lifestyle changes alone really help me reverse type 2 diabetes, or do I still need to rely on medication? That's another good question.
Okay, yeah. Very, very, very good question. I would say, while lifestyle changes can play a significant role in managing type 2 diabetes, the need for medication will depend on your individual circumstances. For example, some individuals may be able to achieve, a good blood sugar control solely by lifestyle changes. But there are other people who would need medication, in addition to that effort, let's say, so this is where your close work or close relationship with your healthcare professional, to determine the most appropriate plan for you becomes important. And I'm going to give you an example. I had a lady, who came to my clinic, newly diagnosed with diabetes, but unfortunately her sugar level was like in the mid 60s, right? And she wasn't in a position where she would be able to, conduct the intensive lifestyle changes that would bring her sugar back. What we did was we started her on some medications, right? And then she gradually started introducing some of the lifestyles little by little. Over 12 months, we gradually stopped, reduced the amount of medicine that she was taking. And now she is under what we call diet controlled diabetes, right? So, and it was important that we started with the medicine early because you need to meet people where they are at, and that's one of the things I wanted to encourage, because most of people in our community, I wouldn't say the word easy way out. I would say we are so accustomed to, can you give me medicine to get rid of this thing, that we're forgetting that these medicines can do so much. I would say a combination of both will be phenomenal, but have an aim to say, look, let's try medicine, but you're going to give yourself a target to say within 1 year, within 2 years, within 3 years, within 6 months, I want to cut down so much that I will be able to control it myself with my lifestyle. Then we'll wean you off medicine, So two of them can exist and I don't want people to get the impression that we're against traditional medicine. Medicine has its place. It's very important, but walk it through with your healthcare professional and then see how
Excellent. It's definitely possible and a great goal to have. Okay. And the last question, what are some practical steps I can take to start implementing the lifestyle medicine pillars in my daily life, even if I'm a beginner? Thank you for that.
Okay. So I would say, number one, start with small achievable goals, right? For example, aim to add one additional, something like a serving of vegetable to each meal that you eat every day. That's small, I'm happy with. Yeah. All right. I don't mind if you go 0.25% improvement in your body or in your daily life, provided you're doing something that's admirable and that's respectful, because it takes a lot for you to go from where you are to even acknowledging that you have a problem to doing something about it. And I think that has to be commended tremendously, right? Find enjoyable physical activities that suit your preferences and then try to incorporate them into your routine. It could be simple things as, taking a walk after dinner, or, joining a new fitness class, or saying to yourself, every day I'm going to dance to a new music, regardless, so something like that. Sleep, prioritize your sleep, have a consistent bedtime routine, and create like a very good sleep friendly environment. Okay. Your bedroom should be for sleep. Now, you shouldn't have TV in your room. Okay. You shouldn't be like watching movies in your bedroom. You're supposed to get in there, close your eyes. That's a place for you and angels to have a conversation. So, that's experiment with like stress reduction techniques like deep breathing exercise or guided meditations. Start each day with few minutes of gratitude, and gradually increase, every day you wake up, just, bend down, say thanks, man, because you're awake, you're breathing. There's no greater gift than that, right? And then gradually make dietary changes, replace the processed food with things a bit more nutrient dense. But if you need any help, seek a dietitian or nutritionist and things like that, right? And then finally, seek support from loved ones. Loved one doesn't always mean your family, have your own tribe, like I said earlier. Join online communities, join us, right? If you want us to help you, reach out to us at support@the lifestylewellnessclinic.com, and we'll be able to, help you. We can send you some of our newsletters, which is very popular as well, or find somebody else that you like, mailing list, follow us on Instagram, on our social media. I think we have a subscription on our website where we can send, our newsletters.
We do, yeah. So we have things that we can send to you once you subscribe to our newsletter for tips and how to achieve optimal health using lifestyle medicine. Thank you, Doctor. So that concludes this episode of Medicine in Small Doses with Dr. Amobi. If you have enjoyed this episode, remember to like, to share it, and to subscribe. And if you can, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That will help more people find the podcast and let more people know that this kind of information is available to them. Remember, it's so important to consult with your doctor or healthcare professionals so that they can help to further give you some personalized and tailored guidance specific to your needs and circumstances. But we do hope that these small steps that we've shared in this video has empowered you to, get on your journey to make sustainable lifestyle changes and better manage your pre-diabetes or diabetes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.